Hi guys, it's Ruben here from the ECommerce Accountant, providing you with another episode of e-commerce business tips. As always, our goal here is to empower, excite, and build confidence in e-commerce business owners by providing clarity within their figures. Now today I want to talk about how you can better understand your e-commerce business's figures within just 7 days without having to do expensive and boring accounting courses. Now, one of the biggest issues that I come across with both new business owners or even existing business owners within the e-commerce space is that they are flying blind and not understanding the core principles of what their financial statements are telling them. Now, I don't expect you to know everything. That's what accountants are for. However, I do believe that every business owner has the ability to at least know the basics that will allow them to give them a bit of guidance and directions when they read their figures. Now, here are my top tips on what I think every owner should know. And before I start, this is essentially something you have to do in conjunction with having real-time reliable figures at hand. Now, I always recommend for every small business owner, especially in the e-commerce space, to leverage off the power of cloud software, cloud accounting software such as Xero, QuickBooks Online, and use this to your advantage. One, because they're extremely cost effective, and two, they'll just make your life so much better because they will keep everything in track on a real-time basis. They'll have all your figures presented to you, and that will get rid of your headaches down the track. Forget about the spreadsheets. There's too many ways that you can stuff up the figures. It gives you inaccurate data, and also it takes a long time. Online software will cut this down by a long way, and in the long run you'll see that it'll be a huge asset to your business. Now let's get to the tips. So my first tip for e-commerce businesses to understand their business better in terms of the figures is to understand where to find your profit and loss and your balance sheet and what they actually mean to your business. Now, to find the profit and loss and balance sheet, if you have Xero or QuickBooks Online, it's as simple as going to your report sections and clicking on profit and loss or balance sheet. And then you can pop in the dates that you want to review. For example, if you want to review the week, you can. You just pop in the dates. If you want to review the last quarter or the last financial year, you can also do this. There are so many things you can do with the Xero and QuickBooks Online that will assist you in seeing where your figures are heading. Now, to understand the profit and loss and balance sheet as simple as possible, the way I like to think about this is to compare it to your own body. Now, your body has the ability to run fast, but it's not going to be at its optimum if your body is unhealthy and it's sick and you're not performing well because of this. Now, if you think about this with your profit and loss and balance sheet, it can be seen as the same way. The balance sheet itself is the health of your body. How healthy is this body? Does it breathe well? Or in terms of your business, does it have enough cash flow? Does it have positive equity in there? Is it running in a way that it allows the body to perform or the business to perform at its optimum level? Now, if you look at the profit and loss, this is pretty much telling you how fast and well your body is running or your business is running. That's the way I like to look at it. So when you look at your profit and loss, you say, well, here it is today. Last week it ran this fast and it outperformed every other week because my balance sheet, which is the health of my body, is super healthy. I have heaps of cash in the bank. My inventory is turning over. All of my customers are paying me on time. I've paid off all my liabilities. I know what's going to happen down the track. So then I can set up my business/body to perform. So that's the way I like to explain it to my clients, and it gives them a bit of clarity around how it all comes together. Without the balance sheet, and without a healthy balance sheet, then the profit and loss is not going to perform at its optimum level. So that's my first tip. Understand your profit and loss statement and balance sheet and what they mean to your business. Now, my second tip is to regularly check and review your profit and loss and bottom line. Look, let's forget about the balance sheet for the meantime, because I think that you should ultimately sit down with your accountant or whichever advisor if you have a business mentor, and try and figure out the best ways to improve this, because I believe that an accountant in that side will give you great guidance. But in terms of your profit and loss, this is something that you can do day in, day out, or once a week, whenever you have time. I always like to set time at least an hour for my own business each week just to review the figures. And then every month and quarter, I'll set some more time to actually dig a little bit deeper. So each week, what you would want to do is open up your profit and loss and basically have a look at 3 areas. The first area is going to be the top area, which is your revenue. So your revenue is basically all of your sales, and if you have split it, depending on your business, you can actually split it into departments or split it in types of sales, whether you have services and goods and products and whatever it may be, and you can actually see how much you've done for that particular period, let's say a week. Then you want to look at your cost of goods. So relating to these sales, how much did you spend on, let's say, inventory, if you're an e-commerce store, compared to the actual sales itself? And it's always good to keep track week on week whether this is increasing or decreasing depending on the percentage that it is from the sales. So each industry is different on what that percentage may be. It could be 30%, it could be 40%, but it's always good to check this week by week. And with Xero or QuickBooks Online, you're able to do week-on-week comparisons or month-on-month comparisons so that you can look at the trends and give you guidance on what you need to do. The next section is your expenses or overhead section. These are the expenses that do not change because of how much stock you're selling. They're there to run the business, irrespective of how much you actually sell in products, goods and services. Now, I like to keep track of these to make sure that week on week I'm not having unexpected expenses, and if I do, then I just need to build this within my budget within my budgets for future reference, and to see if there's any expense creep, any expenses that are suddenly starting to go up. This could be rent if you have a factory, telephone expenses, internet expenses, and a big one for e-commerce stores is probably your subscriptions and advertising. Subscriptions being anything for apps, software. You might be getting Canva, and then all these little things that are only costing $5 to $10 a month start adding up, and you're soon spending $3,000 a month. So it's a good way to just keep track of your expenses. So what I would like everyone to understand is the bottom line. The bottom line is basically your profit or loss. This is super essential to keep a track of. And remember, this is not cash flow. Everyone gets this mixed up. This is just your profit and loss. So after selling your products, buying the inventory to sell those products, and then all of your other expenses, how much is left? And if this is sitting in a negative, that's okay. But the biggest teaching from this is that if it is at a negative, we need to find out why. And and you have to look at the figures to do this. You can't just continue to run your business without understanding that you are in a negative position and not know where that negative position is being made up of. That's why it's important. So obviously the key here is to look at that bottom line and try and improve that over time. And if it's at a negative at the moment, it could be okay because you may be doing a lot of advertising, you may be doing a lot of research and development, and the losses are there for a reason. But sometimes people run blind and run their business thinking that they're making a profit, but not actually analyzing the bottom line. So it's super important. I encourage you to jump onto your online software today or sometime this week and just have a look at that report and have a look how it's changed over the last week or months or quarters, and you can pull up these reports quite easily. So my last tip is to do set up some regular meetings with your team. If you have a team, let's say it's yourself and your wife, or yourself and your business partner, set up some regular meetings to go over these figures and start jotting down some ideas on why things are the way they are, why the sales so low, or why are the cost of goods so expensive. Do we need to increase our prices? And then this is a great thing to do with your accountant. A lot of our clients come to us for our for our CFO services, where we basically assist them externally and give them guidance on where we think that there are issues within their business. Now, it's not to say that they're doing bad, it just means that they need to pivot and eventually get to a stage where each section of the business is running at its optimum level. And this is something that is great, because if you have someone there, you can do it with them, your business partner, you hold each other accountable. Or if you have an accountant, we hold you accountable, for example, to make sure that you're on track with your goals and your key performance indicators, your KPIs. And that way you know that you're heading towards a certain goal, you're on the right track, and if you're not, there's a way to get out of it. So look, I hope these tips help your business, in your e-commerce business. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot myself or one of our team members a message on Facebook or on Instagram. If you like this, please share the video, and I'd love for you to join our Facebook and Instagram page. We also have a Facebook group called the ECommerce Business Builders Australia. Join that, and there's I think at the moment we have over 900 members that share their knowledge and also help each other out. Until next time, I hope everyone does well in their business. Again, let me know if you have any questions and like our video below. Thanks, guys.